A little bit of a sad thing that I've noticed about all of us. We are all carrying for way too long, way too much, a lot of useless emotional baggage. Now, we all have plenty of mistakes that we've made. We all have plenty of weakness in us. But we tend to carry the weight of these things from day to day, week to week, month to month, yes, longer and longer. And this just gets emotionally exhausting. When we are worn out emotionally, that really hinders our ability to even rise above the level of those mistakes and weaknesses and overcome them and get to a better place. So there's actually a huge difference between being physically exhausted and emotionally exhausted. We can be physically exhausted, but if we are healthy and energized emotionally, we can bounce back from physical exhaustion really quick. But when we are emotionally exhausted, it just carries on. It weighs us down day after day, week after week. I actually spent many years in my life previously being weighed down this way. It is extremely difficult, not enjoying anybody about anything, nothing was fun. It was pretty miserable. The only thing worse than this is when we carry the weight of other people's mistakes and weaknesses. Did you know that we do that? Oh, that's crazy, but we do that. We carry the weight of other people's mistakes and weaknesses, and that just adds to our emotional baggage, and it is useless. It just weighs us down. So that happens when we recognize other people's mistakes, and then we get judgmental. We condemn, we criticize, we complain. Even in the very instant that we start to notice things that are wrong with other people, we start to take that on us. We take on that useless emotional baggage of their mistakes and weaknesses when we notice what's wrong with them. The more intense we get with our criticizing and complaining and condemning about other people, the heavier that weight gets. There might be a purpose, there might be a good purpose in us carrying our own emotional baggage, at least for a time, if it brings us to a state of humility. Being humble is one of those things that will actually help us recognize that we aren't perfect, that we do need improvement. Being humble lets us see that, yes, there's changes I need to make, there's improvements I need to work on. And so being humble actually is an important part in us being able to get rid of that excess emotional baggage. But when we carry that emotional baggage from other people, it does just the opposite. It doesn't bring humility at all. In fact, as we get intense about our feelings about the mistakes and weaknesses of other people, it buries our own stuff so deep that we don't even recognize what's wrong with us anymore. And all we ever see is what's wrong with everyone else and everything else. And yes, the more intense we get with those feelings of criticizing, condemning, complaining, the deeper our own stuff gets buried and the heavier this emotional baggage gets. And other people's emotional baggage is completely useless. It'll never bring us to humility, and it just gets to the point that it is extremely, extremely difficult to ever be able to get rid of any of that emotional baggage. And so if you have been experiencing life on the heavy side, that's a pretty good sign that you have been carrying for way too long excess, useless emotional baggage. So my recommendation is the best place to start of getting rid of that useless baggage is get rid of that stuff that's never yours in the first place. Get rid of everybody else's stuff. And you do that by just developing the habit of no more judgment, no criticizing, no complaining, no condemning. And when I say that, I know we all have done things that are probably ethically, morally wrong or whatever. If we don't condemn, that doesn't mean that we condone. We can do neither. You can stay completely neutral. So don't worry about, if I don't criticize and complain about this, it means I agree with it and accept it. No, that's not what that means. It just means that you're not going to take it on. Leave it over there. Just leave it over there where it belongs. So develop the habit of do not judge, no condemning. Don't complain, don't criticize. And when you get good at that, you'll notice that after a while, you don't even notice what's wrong with other people. And when you can go through life with that kind of energy about you, amazing things happen. You're lighter, you can accomplish more, and it allows you to release your stuff, your emotional baggage. You'll be able to release that quicker. But I think one of the coolest things about not taking other people's baggage on is it creates this kind of energy that other people will sense from you when you have that energy about you. And when they sense that you do not complain, criticize, or condemn them for their mistakes and weaknesses, you have just lifted a huge burden off of them. You have empowered them to be humble and to want to work on that and get rid of their own stuff on their own. And when they get rid of their own stuff and they start to develop that same thing of not carrying your stuff, so now they don't complain, condemn, or criticize, that empowers you to easier release your stuff. Can you see how powerful this can be as we all get good at not taking other people's baggage on? We've just created this no shame environment where it empowers all of us to more easily and quickly release our own emotional baggage. And then we're not carrying that. When we're not carrying all that extra weight, man, we can just really soar to greater heights in life. And I hope that we can all do that. Let's work together and develop that environment of not taking on all that extra emotional baggage from each other. And that just empowers all of us to reach greater heights. You can practice this principle in your homes first. That is really the best place to start with everything. Imagine the peace and the joy as you all as a family, as a husband and wife, can practice not taking on each other's emotional baggage and freeing each other up to let go of your own. That's really what I like to see, is let's really make our homes a powerful place, and as our homes become powerful, then our societies will become powerful. Our whole world can become powerful in this principle of we're all going to deal with mistakes and weaknesses all through our lives. But if we can not carry that emotional baggage from those things and allow each other the chance to improve and grow without being weighed down by that emotional baggage, that is going to be an amazing way to live. So work with me on that. Let's get there.